And thank you for joining Restorative Parenting. We understand that everyone is busy, and we want to let you know how much we appreciate you being present with us today. My name is Renee Malbrough with the Office of Restorative Practices. We fall up under MNPS Support Services and the Social Emotional Learning Department. Restorative is an alternative solution to addressing problematic behavior by encouraging discipline rather than punishment. Today, our training is entitled Restorative Parenting Overview. Before we get started, I want to share a childhood experience. My role model growing up was my older brother, who was 20 years my senior, more like a father figure. Even though I was raised in a two-parent household, with such a huge gap between our ages, he became more like a parent to me, like a second parent, a second father, that is. And so when someone asked me who was responsible for who I became, who do I credit as being responsible for who the person that I became, it's always my brother that comes to mind. And when I think of a characteristic trait that defines him, it would be supportive. And when I think about my behavior when it was challenging, the characteristic that comes to mind is firmness. And so that takes me to parenting styles and the social discipline window. And so I want to begin by introducing you to the 4 different parenting styles. Number 1, authoritarian. Number 2, uninvolved. Number 3, permissive. And finally, authoritative. Now, if we examine authoritarian, this style of parenting is punitive. It focuses on power and control. It does things to children rather than with them. And a person that is authoritarian may be someone that would use the phrase, it's my way or the highway. Or if a child questions them, it may be because I said so. And that person is very high on firmness, but very low on fairness. And then that takes me to the permissive style of parenting. And so a permissive parent may be the type of parent that does things for their children. And so what they forget to do is empower their children so that they can become independent. And a permissive parent may use the quote, kids will be kids. Very high on firmness, but really low. Very high on fairness, but really low on firmness. And then there's that parent that falls within the uninvolved category. These are our absent parents. They don't do anything. They fall into the not category, low on both fairness and firmness. And then finally, there's that individual that resembles my older brother. Very high on supportive or fairness, and very high on firmness as well. These are authoritative parents. They typically do things with their children. They are restorative. High on fairness, high on firmness. They understand the balancing act between the two. And so what I want to remind you is that none of us are always exclusively in the WIT box. Sometimes we lean more toward punitive or authoritarian, and sometimes we lean more toward permissive, right? Because it's a balance. And so I don't want you to leave here thinking that restorative means letting your children get away with everything. No, we all need to understand that children need structure and direction. And so authoritative is all about providing both of those things, but understanding the importance of the support of fairness above all. And so then that takes us to proactive parenting. And you might ask, what is that? Well, it's what we do all the time in order to ensure that we are strengthening our families and building trust. We proactively parent so that when we have to discipline, it's easier and not as stressful. And so when I think of proactive parenting, I'm reminded of the 4 C's: clear expectations, charting, circling up, and checking in or out. And so by clear expectations, what we mean is we create a set of rules or norms so that our children know what we expect. And so my examples here, no pajamas during virtual school. And so as a parent, I understand we've been quarantined for a while, and I understand that you've gotten comfortable in your comfortable clothes. I understand that you've worn your pajamas more than usual, but now that we are back in school, I expect you to get up and actually get dressed for school and put on some clothes other than your pajamas, right? And so clothes should be prepared at night. I expect you to shower before going to bed, and I expect you to put your technology away and not be texting on up into the wee hours of the night. And then there's charting. This reinforces positive behavior. And so you may set up goals and then have rewards to earn, such as extra screen time, an allowance, a play date with a friend, etc. And then circling up is our intentional quality time with our families. This is when we really focus on being present with one another. We use this time to discuss family business, current events, what's going on at school, work, to plan vacations, to resolve conflict, etc. And then checking in and checking out. This is our intentional relationship building, our intentional communication that allows us to strengthen our bonds with one another. And so examples of times we can check in and check out: before or after school, in person, or text. And an example of text would be you and your child may have an agreement that every day, Monday through Friday after school, you send me a text outlining 3 things that you learned and 1 thing that you struggled with. And that kind of just keeps us in the know as far as what's going on. I want to provide you with a couple of examples of setting clear expectations. And so here I want to look at a sample of expectations that may be set for the morning time, okay? And so set an alarm to get up at a designated time, use the restroom, wash your face and brush your teeth, put on deodorant and lotion, get dressed and comb your hair, make your bed, eat breakfast and clear dishes, grab your backpack, leave for your designated location. Evening, eat a snack, do homework, eat dinner and do chores, screen time, get clothes ready for school, shower and brush your teeth, put away your phone and our other technology, bedtime. And so if you look at this, what we've done is established a clear set of expectations, very explicit practice here. The child knows exactly what you expect and exactly what to do. I might add that it's helpful to also post your expectations so that your children can revisit and review your expectations at any time. Now, what happens when things go wrong? What do I do when children are not following the rules? We recommend two things. The first thing we recommend is having impromptu conversations. And the caveat, our benefit of having impromptu conversations gives children a voice, choice, and an opportunity to be heard. Allows for early intervention. Encourages parents to listen rather than assume. And an example of an impromptu conversation. I noticed that you did not get up on time this morning. Are you feeling okay? Using effective language. The benefit of using effective language, it models expressing feelings and emotions, teaches empathy, helps students understand the impact of their actions. And an example of using effective language is, I feel frustrated when you do not get your clothes ready at night because it causes you to be tardy for school and me to be late for work. And you'll notice the expression of feelings and emotions. I feel frustrated. That's important because it teaches empathy. Children begin to understand how their actions impact you and how it makes you feel, which most kids, when they're connected to their parent or any other caregiver, they don't want to do anything that's going to hurt or upset you. And then if you don't do what I expect, then there is a consequence for that. And in this case, you're late for school and I'm late for work. And so again, helping your student or child to understand the impact of their actions. And then there are those times when people are harmed in our homes, are hurt. And so we recommend restorative conversation, which really focuses on repairing harm and restoring relationships. And with that, we have two sets of questions. The first set focuses on challenging behavior, and the second set of questions help those that have been affected or harmed. And you'll notice that both sets of questions focus on past, present, and future. And so to begin, we'll look at when behavior is challenging. Number one, past. What happened? What were you thinking at the time? Number three, present. What have you thought about since then? Who has been affected by what you have done and in what way? And then finally, future. What do you think needs to happen to make things right? And you'll notice that the line of questioning allows the individual to dig deep and begin to process feelings, emotions, how their behaviors made other people feel, and then they have a hand in coming up with a resolve for restoring. And then on the other hand, you have the person that's been hurt who has the opportunity to share with the person that did the hurting how it made them feel. So number one, in present, what did you think? I'm sorry, number one, in past, what did you think when you realized what had happened? What impact has this incident had on you and others? That's present. What has been the hardest thing for you? Present. And then the future. What do you think needs to happen to make things right? And so it's very important to ask these questions in the way that they're written because they really, really do drive home that restoration. And so I hope that this information has been helpful for you. If there's anything further that we can do, I want you to know that we are available. You can email us at familysupport@mnps.org. You can please include a synopsis of what you need help with, and know that we can email, text, or call you to discuss. Thanks again for allowing us to be a part of supporting you and your family. Have a good day.